and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for a full Barça news roundup. As today we do have Joan Laporta's press conference to discuss, where he spoke on the one-for-one rule, the Nike deal, Lewandowski and Ilkay Gundogan's exit. We're also going to discuss a new injury at the club. I know, another injury problem, but we also do have some fantastic quotes from Pedri on Hansi Flick, his arrival at the club, and what it's like to work under the new coach at Barça. It is all on the way for you guys. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying the break as best as you can. Let's do this. But I do want to begin here with a super thanks shout out coming in, and it's a very special one indeed from a channel member here who is asking whether Joshua Kimmich will join Barca next summer. Maybe Nico will be one of the targets, but do you believe that Barca will go for Kimmich? And I think personally, guys, on Kimmich right now, as long as he doesn't extend that deal at Bayern, of course he's going to be of interest to Barca. I think right now, when you look at that deal that expires only next summer, you know, in January, he could technically sign a pre-contract agreement. That's not even far away. Barca are certainly going to be keeping tabs on his situation, and if he doesn't renew, he will definitely be in the club's mind, in my view. But indeed, guys, we do have to talk about the here and now, because all season long so far, we've been waiting for Barca's away kit. We have been thinking, are we going to have one this season? Are Nike going to provide us with one? Where is the away kit? Well, today, we have finally got it, and luckily, it's incredible. I mean, look at that right there. That is an absolutely beautiful kit from Barca, and I think all of our kits this season are very, very impressive. This one right here, I think it just encapsulates our team right now. You know, it's exciting, it's got that edge about it, it's a bit of an electrifying kit, and I think that definitely suits the way that we are going to be playing in it. I think it really, really is a nice one. I know a lot of you guys are really enjoying this as well. Are you going to be getting it? Let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to splash the cash on a Barca kit this season? Because obviously the prices right now are pretty steep, but hey, we've got to support the club in any way that we can. But I also do want to talk to you guys about Fermin Lopez right now, because he, of course, was actually called up in this break to the Spanish under-21 squad. And already, guys, I felt as though that was a bit unnecessary. You know, he's just played the Euros in the summer, then he went off to the Olympics, then he came back to Barca. Surely it would have been in everyone's best interest, maybe here, to just let Fermin have 2 weeks rest. You know, was that too much to ask for there? Because obviously he went off to Spanish under-21 training, immediately got injured. Hamstring injury there that Barca have officially announced he will miss 3 weeks of action because of. Now, luckily for us, 2 of those weeks are going to come during this international break, so it's not such a huge blow as it could have been with Fermin. He will probably only miss 1 week or so of Barca action. Not many games at all he's going to miss out on, but I do think we have to be careful here, and ironically now, Fermin will actually get a bit of rest. He will be forced to spend some time on the sidelines during this international break, and Pablo Torre will actually be the man to replace him in Spain's under-21 squad. But indeed, guys, it was a big day at the club yesterday, where actually I did take a day off. I'm sorry about that, guys, but even me here during this international break, I'm trying to get rest wherever I can. You know, I know there's going to be lots of games coming up this season. It's going to be a really, really intense campaign, so even I'm trying to take breaks every now and then where I can. But yesterday, Laporta did indeed hold a press conference at the club, and he did address several different topics during that conference. But what I would have to say, guys, on Laporta's words as a whole here, I don't think he made too many big statements. Now, that is really interesting, because obviously Laporta, during his entire time as president, he's always come out with these big remarks, but I think yesterday he was a bit more cautious, and that comes off the back, of course, of the summer, whereby we don't want any more promises. We don't want promises that can't be kept. What we want now is not words, but to actually deliver action, to actually deliver on the promises that you give. So Laporta on the one-for-one rule did actually say, we have not yet reach the one-for-one rule in La Liga, because he said sometimes the sporting timeline doesn't coincide with the financial and negotiating one. He said we considered that it was not necessary to force an agreement because there was other ways to register players. Because Laporta says there, we want to have the best market contracts, and we can say that the agreement for Barca's sports kit will be the best sporting contract in world football He said, could we have signed it this summer? That contract with Nike? Yes, but we did not want to get ahead of ourselves because we are working in the interests of Barca. So Laporta there actually says that he believes Barca could have signed that Nike deal this summer, but it hasn't quite been done just yet. So maybe ironing out some details, maybe that wasn't as close as we were being led to believe. He said to get to the 1-for-1 rule, we are 60 million euros away, and we have several ways to raise the money, and I'm confident that in the next few months we could achieve it. All clubs have difficulty achieving the 1-for-1 rule, but we will get there. So Laporta says we are 60 million away from the 1-for-1 rule. That's still quite a big gap there, I've got to say, guys. But he says in the coming months, he's confident they can do it. But hey, let's wait and see. Because again, at this point, guys, we can't just take that as gospel. We can't just take that as, oh, well, it'll definitely be done then. We definitely do have to wait and see what happens. Because that is quite a big gap. But Barca are hoping to be back on the 1-for-1 rule by January in La Liga. Let's wait and see by that window what we can do. But it was also interesting to hear Laporta speak about İlkay Gündoğan's exit from the club. You know, why did that happen? What were the circumstances of that departure? And ultimately, was it down to financial reasons? Was it because that we needed to release wages in order to register, for instance, Dani Olmo? Because remember, guys, when Gündoğan left, just to bring this here to your attention, he actually put out a statement there to say, look, I gave everything to the team. I was looking forward to the season to come. But then he said, now I am leaving in a difficult situation, but if my departure can help the club financially, then it makes me a little bit less sad. So on Gündoğan's side, he seems to imply it was financial reasons. He was leaving there with the understanding that it would be to help the club. But Laporta yesterday, he was of a very different opinion. He said the decision on Gündoğan's departure was not made because of economic factors. He said he was an excellent player and person in the year that he had with us here, but he said with all due respect, we decided on a sporting level, following the arrival of Dani Olmo, that the role of Gündoğan was not clear, that they shared a similar position on the field. So Laporta, in his mind, says it was not financial reasons, it was not economic factors, it was simply a sporting decision. Do you agree with that? Can you see that? Or are you more inclined at this point to believe the words of Gündoğan more? Let me know in the comments down below, because Laporta also went on to talk about Robert Lewandowski. And I think these were quite interesting admissions here from Laporta. He said, first of all, I see Robert more motivated than ever. Laporta actually said there that he felt he needed this new push. He needed the new coach's arrival. He's in good physical shape. I see him as very excited. He's a player committed to the club. I can assure you of that. But then he went on to say, when Lewandowski heard that we had to make some efforts in order to reach fair play so we could register players, he told us that he could lower his contract in order to help the club. And he said, I really appreciated that, but I told him that it was not necessary. Now, I think it's really interesting there, first of all, that Lewandowski offered to help the club in a difficult situation when it comes to fair play, when it comes to registering players, that Lewandowski offered to do something to help. But I do think it's interesting here, the club didn't take him up on that offer, because usually at Barca, we know here, the club are willing to do whatever it takes, and if somebody comes to them with a solution there to help, they usually act upon that. So what exactly went on there? What exactly was offered by Lewandowski? Because apparently, according to the media, it was suggested there that it could mean Lewandowski adjusting his current salary, but extending his current deal by one further year, beyond 2026, and maybe that was something that at this stage the club didn't really want to commit to. I think here it's interesting to see they didn't take him up on that offer. They didn't want to guarantee a contract extension. And what do you guys make there of the club's approach to that Lewandowski offer? However, guys, we do have plenty more words to come in today's video, because like I say, Pedri gave a fantastic interview there and lots of really intriguing insights into working under Hansi Flick. And he was actually asked there a question, what is the atmosphere like at Barca under Hansi Flick now, since his arrival at the club, maybe compared with what it was like under Xavi? And I thought Pedri's answer there was very honest and very open. He said with Xavi, there was a lot of criticism within the club, you know, from the outside as well. He said everything seemed to be going badly, but he said now, everything is much calmer. He said Flick doesn't get so much attention, he doesn't get so much criticism from the media, and he has brought a sense of seriousness to the club there. And I think it's a really, really interesting point of view, because lots of people are saying about Hansi Flick, you know what? Maybe don't learn Spanish. Because obviously, guys, we want him to be able to communicate with his players. That's very, very important. And of course, he's making steps to make sure that's absolutely possible. But outside of that, a lot of people are saying here, don't bother, because the less that Hansi Flick understands that's coming from the media, what's being said there outside of the club, the better. You don't want him to get sucked into all of that. You don't want him to surround himself with the energy that, of course, we know it can happen at Barca. We saw it happen with Xavi, whereby it can get on top of you. It can really surround you there and actually make your job such a difficult task. So Flick right now, he's doing well to distance himself from all of that, from the pressures as well of the media, and that can only be a very, very good thing. And Pedri went on to talk there about Flick's character, because he said although he is a very serious person, he's still close with all of us players. He said he has a heart, he knows how to lead the group, and he said he can be a bit of a joker as well, Hansi Flick. He's able to give everybody a hug if they want one, and we can go to him and we can talk to him and approach him. And it's what we said before about Flick. You know, he may have this serious persona, he may have a very direct approach to the way that he goes about his work, but I do think as well, he's a person the players can talk with. He's a person there the players can go to and actually get help and improve and develop their games as well, which is really, really important for the young players that we have at the club. And speaking more there about his position that he's been asked to play by Hansi Flick there, Pedri, he said it's true that with Flick, I am playing deeper in the field, but he said that's a position that I really like, because he said I'm constantly involved with the ball, and he said what any player wants is to have the ball as much as possible. The more the better. All the coaches ask me to get forward that I've worked under, but Flick also asks me to organise. So Pedri right now, really enjoying life under Flick, really enjoying the atmosphere at the club. Very, very good, very, very calm. Also quite serious as well when needed. And he's also enjoying things on the field, where he has the licence to roam, the licence to be free, the licence to pick up the ball and receive it and be constantly on it. But he's also, again, got to be organised, and every single player knows their role, understands their job, and as always, that comes from the coach, Hansi Flick. So that there, guys, is the Barca news right now in this international break. And of course, what we're all doing right now is sitting around waiting, counting down the minutes to Barca's return to action. Hopefully it will go by quickly. Hopefully we won't be waiting around all that long. But thank you here, guys, for joining me in today's video, for all of your great support right now. And let's keep these good feelings going ahead of Barca's return not too far away. I will catch you all soon. Thank you indeed for watching. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.